welcome to the most interesting podcast in Israel about real estate. And I want to say hello. My name is Maayan Harkham, and next to me sitting Moshe Binyamini, my dearest friend and lawyer.
How are you? Hi.
Well, bad news recently in Israel, and we're trying to keep our head above water. But, we're doing our best.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about Israeli real estate. This is actually our first meeting, our first video podcast.
We're trying to create a podcast that help people that live abroad understand Israeli real estate, Israeli progress, buying and renting and law, everything and selling regarding real estate, and just make it easier for them, smoother.
So my name is, like you said, Moshe Binyamini. I'm an Israeli real estate lawyer and notary. And we really want to talk about everything people should know before they jump in the Israeli real estate market, because there's a big confusion and a lot of differences from what they know from their country to Israel, if it's regarding legal issues or taxation or banking.
Or even the process, how the process even starts. How do you start? You want to have your beautiful house, apartment, whatever it is in Israel. And so what's the next step? What's the first step, basically?
There's a big difference if you want to buy just as an investment, or if you want to come and live in the apartment. Okay, if you want to make Aliyah and live in Israel. So if it's the second reason to come and live in the apartment, I really highly recommend to people to come in Israel and check the area and see the community, see if it fits for them, see the schools if they have young kids.
Or the shul or synagogues,
exactly.
or yeah. So should they rent before they buy, or just come and how do they?
I don't know. I don't think there's one answer to that, because it's specifically about this person who's buying. If he already knows Israel, if he knows the area, maybe you want to try it out for a while and rent an apartment for 1 year or even more, and then decide if he wants to stay like that or to buy or even go back to his country. So it's very specific.
And if he wants an investment and he wants to keep it empty, or if he wants investment or rent it out, what should he do? What's the next step? How does he find the right real estate agent,
Yeah.
Do they open a bank account? So many questions pops into my head.
Always, first step I recommend for my clients to do is to open a bank account. If they're already here, so you can come to the bank one day, you open an account, you're out in an hour with a new account. And
do you need a lawyer to come with you? You go by yourself?
You don't have to come with a lawyer, but it helps, because I can say that I know a lot of bank managers and branch managers that can set an appointment within a few days.
But if they're not here?
If they're not here, they don't have to come here. Some banks will open an account for you even without coming here. You can sign the documents in your country. Sometimes just email them. Most times they will want you to sign it in front of a
notary.
Yeah, in your state, and then you can open it by yourself. It goes through the compliance department of the bank, and but eventually it's possible. Especially now when banks want the clients to come open new accounts. Yeah, but most important thing after we do the first thinking about where you want to buy and to have an account is to go to a real estate broker, because these are the guys that knows the areas better than everyone, better than the lawyers that sit in the offices most days or any other advisors.
How should he find the real estate agents?
Like any other professional, first of all, ask people they know, get recommendations with people they work with, and check the social media, so check the reviews, check websites.
And have a first conversation with them to see if they have the same needs and the connection and communication is good, right?
And for people that want to work with Israeli lawyers or brokers or mortgage brokers or whatever, it's very important to see that these people are already working with non-residents, because there's a big difference
with foreigners that's not living in Israel.
Yeah, because there's a big difference from my experience from working with an Israeli client and a non-resident, regardless if it's an American or English people or Canadian or South African, whatever. There's a huge gap in the mentalities, or there's different mentalities between clients, and things take longer than Israeli clients used to. There's small nuance that people have to understand. And obviously, you need to have good English.
Yeah,
as well.
it's
Important.
true. לא לדבר, I understand Hebrew, but...
Don't just talk with Google Translate.
Not just that I'm a real estate broker, I am also managing properties for people who live abroad. And for like 14 years, I've been doing that. And the most important thing, I think, is the aspect of communication. Even if it's the best agent, lawyer, whatever it is, I think the first conversation, you understand the other person and you really understand. Like, for me, when I see a client and speak to him, I try to understand his needs. If I don't get it, I missed everything. And I think it's the same thing with a client from abroad. He needs someone that he connects to him because he's going to be with him for a long and hard process. It's very not easy to purchase property here. And the first thing for me is communication, good, honest, and reliable communication. Right. That I would say about all the suppliers or people that I'm recommending to work with them. This is the first thing. And secondly, the budget. What's their real budget is? Because in Israel, and I know you can really help with this because the taxation is something that doesn't exist in other countries. Taxation for foreigners specifically. So have a list of budget. Also, Israel is very expensive.
That's right.
And so have a budget for everything and a budget for the apartment. Maybe you can tell us what the tax for foreigners are, because I know there is a change a year ago.
Even before we talk about the taxation when you buy an apartment, one of the most important things to do when people, before they jump in and buy an apartment, so they should know all their expenses in upfront, so they can calculate how much money they need and what's their budget. So besides the apartment price, and it even changes if you buy a second-hand or a new apartment from a developer, because when you buy from a developer, in some cases you have the index
input, yeah.
So the index input for somebody, for everybody listening now and doesn't know what it means that today in Israel, by law, the developer can attach the purchase price, the last 40% in the purchase price to the index input.
It's basically a tax, right? It's kind of a tax.
It's not exactly a tax. It's an index. It means that there's a construction materials index that it changes each month.
And it costs money for the developer.
Exactly, because the developer can attach the last 40% of the price, and in a few years, if you buy today on paper and your apartment will only be ready in a couple of years, 3 years or 4 years, and sometimes even more than 4 years, it can be a big difference. It could be sometimes 100,000 shekel difference or even more. So,
but I think today, in those days, if you have someone, a really good real estate agent or a lawyer or whoever have the negotiation for you, some people, some developers are neglecting it and dropping it, and it's part of the negotiation, right?
Right. Because a lot of developers today, not just today, in the last couple of years, are trying to attract a lot of people, not just non-residents, but also Israelis, so they drop the interest, the index.
So you have to know what to ask.
Yeah, so this is part of the negotiation because they can do that, and they can attach the last 40%, so it can be a big difference.
So back to the original question is, so they need to know the budget.
Right.
That the budget is the price of the apartment, the index input if they have it.
Right.
And what else?
You have the purchase tax when you buy, you have a broker fee, you have the lawyer fee. If you take in a mortgage, you have the mortgage broker fee. And if you do any renovations, you have to take that into consideration and have a budget for that. Let's talk about the tax, because that's a big difference, especially in the last year when they did the Olim taxation reform last August, in August 2024.
So maybe you can clarify, if you're not an Oleh, you just want to purchase an apartment and you don't have apartments in Israel, what is that? According to today's
according to today, if
June 2000.
today, what's the date today?
25th.
So June 25. So as a non-Israeli resident, if you buy an apartment, I'm not talking about any commercial real estate, just in residential, you pay a flat 8% on the apartment price up to 6 million shekel. Price above 6 million will be 10%. Okay, it's not exactly 6 million, it's a bit more, but that's in general, it's 6 million, 8%. Above that, it's 10%.
So if you are, you purchase property, you're not a citizen, you're not Israeli, and you don't make aliyah, it's 6% until
8%.
8% until 6 million.
6 million.
And then
above that, it's 10%.
10%.
The part that above 6 million. By the way, it's not just for non-residents. It's parallel to Israeli resident who buys his second
apartment.
Yeah, if it's second, third, fourth.
If you're an investor or have more than one apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's if you buy as an investment. If you're an investor and a non-resident, this is your purchase tax.
And if you'd making aliyah in through the you didn't want to, but now you said, okay, I'll just move to Israel. Yeah. Can you?
You can change it. Yeah.
Retroactively.
Yeah.
Deduct it, or you have to pay it. Or?
You can pay the full amount, like we said, 8% and then 10%, and you have 1 year from the day you sign the contract to make aliyah and to reclaim the returns for the Oleh Hadash taxation, the purchase tax.
Is that something you can help with?
Yeah, sure. This is what I do.